everybody. I'm Marlene from Building and Decor, and welcome to Speak Expo. Today on Speak Expo, we have Grant Neve from WANABIWOOD. He's the National Sales Manager, and he's going to talk us through their products, through some of their projects. Welcome, Grant.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? So tell us a little bit, WANABIWOOD, what do you guys do?
Okay, WANABIWOOD is, I think, a leading importer of LVT flooring to South Africa. It was established by a lady called Rooyen just over 10 years ago. So yeah, we consider ourselves to be one of the bigger importers. And like I say, we're in hard times like everyone at the moment, but we're adamant that we're going to get our way out of this.
I love that positive attitude. I think that's exactly what we need right now. Tell me about your products.
Okay, some would say we've probably got all their eggs in one basket, but we solely stick to LVTs because that, we believe, gives us a more focused approach, and our customers know exactly what products we're selling. There's not laminates, there's no other products that we bring in at the moment. We did dabble with laminates a couple of years back, but unfortunately the market on that side seems to be flooded with various options. So in short, we've got 4 products currently. We've got 3 LVT stick downs. We have Superior, which is what we call an entry-level product. That's 2mm with a 0.3mm wear layer. It used to be a 0.2, but the industry trend went towards a 0.3 wear layer. We've got Classic, which has been with us now for over 2 years. That's what we would call a commercial product. It's a 2.5 with a 0.55 wear layer. And then we've got our brand new Echo Tile. This was launched in November last year, and it has really flown. It's a stone look tile, which is the new trend in flooring these days, and that has just it's blown us away with the sales that we've had on that particular product. And then we've got a Click system. Click is what we call a WPC, which is a wood plastic composite. It is still got the limestone impregnation in the core. A lot of people tended to think that SPC was a better product, but we stuck with WPC because we've had it now for just over 3 years, I think it is, and we've had no issues at all. It's got limestone impregnation in the core, so it's as good as any SPC that's on the market.
So you provide products for both commercial and residential applications? That's
correct. I mean, we believe that stick down is probably the better way to go for commercial because it's a bit more stable and you've got less problems with expansion contraction. And although we say like the Superior product is an entry-level product, it is still a 0.3, which is a light commercial. But the problem with light commercial is it's a very vague specification. If you've got a doctor's rooms, for example, in a township, that's going to see footfall traffic very, very high. But if you've got a private doctor's rooms, then light commercial is suitable for that application. So what we would suggest is if you're looking for light commercial and you're not sure whether to specify Superior or to go for Classic, give us a call and we'll give you the advice required on that one. And then of course, Classic, that's commercial. It's got a 20-year commercial guarantee along with Echo Tile. We've actually done a few tests on the Classic product, but we can come to that in a little bit. But yeah, we cover from commercial right the way down to the light commercial domestic market. And
you do offer free technical advice, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I've personally, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I've been in the industry for 30 years. I started in the UK as a flooring fitter, and basically I've worked my through every sort of entity in the flooring industry. The first thing, for example, we did when Echo Tile landed was for me to fit the product into our showrooms and into our communal areas so that I know personally how the product works. So if someone says to me, your product's not doing this, I can say, well, you're either doing something wrong or yes, I agree. I've fitted the product so I know. I've got a history also. I used to work for a company that imported screeds. So I know about self-leveling screeds. I know about subfloor preparation.
Subfloor preparation. Now there's an interesting topic. Let's talk subfloor preparation and
how long have we got? I'm not alone with subfloor preps and problems that are out there. I know I'm not going to mention names, but I do speak closely to a lot of the other importers because we're all one big happy family, although we're in competition. Moisture has become a massive problem in the industry. Sawflower are aware of it, the adhesive manufacturers are aware of it, and most of the importers are. And what tends to happen is people tend to cut corners. The problem we've got at the moment is the building regulations. Some of the buildings do not have DPCs. So you'll go out on day one of the installation, you'll do a moisture test with a meter, and it'll give you an okay sort of reading. The trouble is that subfloor could have been open. It could have had carpet on the top, so therefore the floor can always vent any moisture that's in there. The minute you come along with a vinyl and stick the vinyl to the floor, then any moisture that's there can potentially become trapped. That then will build up and give you readings beyond the acceptable standard for the industry that you couldn't pick up on day one. Therefore, what happens is the adhesive breaks down, the floor peaks, and everyone says, oh, your floor has failed, when in fact, it's down to the adhesive below it through no fault of the adhesive manufacturer, because their products now are more non-solvent based. So the industry really should come up with a rule that says if you are unsure or if you can't do a proper core test of the floor, then you should install a moisture barrier. But the downside to that is it's another 80, 85 rand a square meter minimum on top of the cost of flooring. So we all know the industry, we all know people are up against it on price. So I try and give advice to say to the people, if you are unsure and you've done a quotation, do your quotation without the moisture barrier, but then put in the sub notes. We will do a moisture test on the day, but we cannot guarantee that that moisture test, moisture will not come back into the flooring at some stage. We strongly advise that you have a moisture barrier installed. Should you fail to not install it, for example, then we cannot be held liable for the moisture problem that could possibly come up in a few years' time or even months. We've had failures 6 months after installation and it's peaked. And you go and do a moisture reading and I've had moisture way over the 6%. That is just way out. The moisture reader can't even pick it up. So moisture is a big problem. Subfloor prep, screeding, the screeds nowadays are a lot better than what they used to be, but you can still, if you don't install it properly, you're going to have problems. If you don't put enough glue down, if you don't use the right glue, and the biggest thing, certainly from some of my other colleagues in the industry, is the 68 kilogram roller. People just don't use it, and they can just push it in, and the problem will go away. We as experts, if you like, can see straight away, because we'll pull the floor up and we'll see there's been no adhesive transfer. We'll see that there's not enough adhesive been put down. So you can't hide from the facts. We know when the job has been done incorrectly, but unfortunately, the retailer will always say, yeah, but you're trying to blame us for your product failure. And 99% of the time, an LVT will fail, particularly on stick down, because of installation issues.
So first off, warranties?
Okay, on the Classic and the Eco Tile, we offer a 20-year commercial warranty, which I think is an industry standard nowadays, but we pride ourselves on that our products are tested at source on every single batch. We use international laboratories at source. So all of our productions are overseen by outsiders, if you like, from Europe. So our products all comply to European standards. The guarantees are not written by us. They are written by the testing laboratory at source. Their superior product, again, commercial or light commercial, shall I say, we'll give it maybe a 5-year warranty. On the commercials, on the domestic side, we'll give it a 15-year warranty. And on the WPC click system, again, we'll give it a commercial warranty depending on the application. But on domestic side also, we'll give it a 15-year warranty. And we stand by those warranties. If there is a problem, then I will, if it's genuinely product failure, I'm not going to quibble. We are going to replace that product along with the refitting costs, etc., etc.
And you touched on a very interesting one as well with regards to installation. So talk a little bit about your projects. You've done some spectacular projects.
Yeah, I mean, the most recent one, I mean, we got in with exclusive books. We've done the Mall of Africa there. We've done the new Four Ways Mall, and it's a stunning installation. They've installed Classic, and they've done it with a herringbone installation, which is stunning. And then I also work very closely with like your commercial developments and contractors at the same time. We had a development or a hotel I stayed at in Bloemfontein. They had laminate floors fitted. I mean, to be fair, they had done well, but they were getting past the sell-by date. So I had to sit with the manager of the hotel, and we decided that the best thing to do was to prove a point. So we did 2 of the elevators. We put our flooring in there in conjunction. It's when I stay at regular in Bloemfontein, and sadly, as you're in the flooring industry, you tend to look at the floors and think, that's not so good. So I spoke to the manager and one of the regional controllers as well, and we offered as a supplier to do 2 of the elevators for free. We supplied the material, but I did this thing, you do the installation for free if we supply the material. That was 18 months ago. These lifts serve 10 floors with 130 bedrooms daily. 18 months down the line, there's very, very few marks on the flooring. And as a result of that test, we've actually acquired some of the offices at the back, and eventually we will get the hotel rooms.
Wow, so, yeah, that's brilliant.
We try. I mean, it's very well to talk the talk, if you like, but I believe in, if there is doubt, then let's do the installation. Let's prove to them that the product will last the time that they want it to. We've done several of the universities now, again, working with local contractors.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to go in and I tell them where I'm going, and I say, listen, we're trying to get my product spec. Are you prepared to come on board and be the preferred installer? And that's how Wanabi works. We try at all costs to avoid dealing direct with end users. That's not our game. We're not in the business for that. We tend to work with the contractors, with the retailers, to try and build their business through architects, specifiers, and the developers.
And you do a lot of training with your contractors. So obviously you have a list of approved contractors that's experts at installing your products. Do you do training with them often? Okay. Yeah.
I tend to do a lot of technical verbal training. My belief is that training cannot be done in a training room in terms of actual installations. So what I would say to anyone that we deal with is, if you're unsure of site, I will go to site and inspect site situations with you. If you've got a fairly new team and you're not sure about installations, I personally will go to site. I will do the screening with them. I will do the installation with them. I won't do it per se, but I will stand over them and show them firsthand how to actually make sure the jobs go correctly. And I believe that's what we should be doing. We shouldn't just be a supplier of product. I think we should stand behind our product as knowledge as possible to advise the customer, not just on the product, but what you need to do before you install their product. And that to me is paramount, because we've got the Rolls Royce of products out there. But if your subfloor prep and your installation is, should we say, less than perfect, the Rolls Royce is going to fail and end up no better than a cheap saloon car.
I think that's critical, and it seems that there are more and more corners being cut on the installations, on the subfloor preparation side, before the product gets installed. So even if you're putting down an 800 Rand square product, once again, it would fail if you haven't installed it correctly and prepared the floor correctly beforehand.
Yeah, I think it's with everything. Like if you're building a house, if your foundation isn't correct, then your house is going to fall down. And I think it's very important to start at the very beginning and sit, with the retailers. I try and advise them, sit with your customer and explain the pros and cons of everything. Don't just say this is a lovely floor and it will look stunning. You've got to tell them how you're going to get there and justify the costs, because screeding is not cheap. Screeding's 55, 60 Rand a square meter. Your moisture barrier is 80, 85 Rand, something like that. Your adhesive, it all adds up. And this is the question mark where you come in stick versus click systems. Click is very, very good. When I go back to the commercial side, if you've got a hotel revamp and you've got to be in and out of a room in a day, then click system is going to be the way to go. Whereas if you've got a new hotel and you've got longevity of project, then you can go with stick down. But you need to justify the cost, because eventually stick will come out the same price as click. If you're doing the moisture barrier, the self-leveling screed. So you walk the fine line. And I think the trouble is, people think, well, let's go with stick because it's cheaper, and then that's where they cut the corners. They don't do the screed correctly. They'll do a patching compound, and they don't do the moisture barrier. So it's very, very hard. I think it needs a big education, and I think it's going to be even harder when we come back from this lockdown, because people are going to look to get as much business as they can at the best price possible, and that's where the corners will start to be cut.
Yeah. Okay, and tell us a little bit about how much you've installed and how big is your footprint exactly?
Okay, we've been here for 10 years. We did an estimate the other day. We reckon we've done well over 1 million square meters in those 10 years with very, very few problems. In terms of footprint, I think we're fairly well established in South Africa. We've got agents in Cape Town, Durban, East London, and obviously myself in Joburg. Yes. We've got a warehouse in Cape Town. We've got a warehouse in East London now as well. So we can distribute anywhere normally within 48 hours in the country. In terms of out of the country, we've just now or recently signed up agents into Namibia. We are in Botswana now. We are in Zambia. We've shipped stuff up to Tanzania. Mozambique, we're just about to sign an agent just before we had lockdown. So that's sort of gone by the by at the moment, but that's also there. So our focus, we've got a very good footprint into South Africa, but my belief is that the sub-Saharan countries as well are showing a little bit better growth. Certainly after lockdown, I think we've got options there. So I've done the Botswana trip. There's some very, very nice developments coming up there if they get funding. Namibia is always going to be funded by the government side, because if the government doesn't spend, then nothing happens in Namibia. But yeah, we are hopefully probably 3-4 months after we come back from lockdown, we will be established in most of the major sub-Saharan countries.
Wonderful. So your products will be available for the architects.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key, is to get the product specified. And as I say, we worked on a development in Botswana, but that's currently stalled at the moment. That's a lovely, lovely Gulf estate there. I've met with the architects there. Ghana as well has shown some interest as well. I did a previous work in Ghana a few years back there. So yeah, we really are trying to become, the African brand, if you like, for the whole of the continent.
Wonderful. Great stuff. Grant, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll put the contact details up in the next slide, and you are more than welcome to contact Grant with any technical information that you have, any quotations, samples, etc. Grant, and from your side, any closing words?
I just think let's be positive going forward. We've been around for 10 years. I don't think we're going to go anywhere. I think it's going to be very, very hard when we come back. But from the Wanabi side, we are going to expand the range. We are going to stick to our core products, of course. We have got new trims coming when we get back, the aluminium trims, because we haven't done those. We've got a range of skirtings now. So yeah, let's just be positive when we come back, because positivity breeds positivity. Negativity, you're going to go nowhere. So yeah, thank you for your opportunity and the time you've given us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Grant. The very best.
Yes. Bye-bye.